welcome to Alpha Militaria TV. Thanks for tuning in once again. My name is Richard Saunders. Now I'm going to get the plug for our website out of the way nice and early. It's www.alphamilitaria.com, because if you go onto that website, you'll find more information on this rifle, information on other rifles in the Brocock range and a whole bunch of other rifles too, and a whole lot of information on some general airgunning topics, so it's well worth a look. But to talk about this rifle specifically, this is the Brocock Commander XR, and it's the newer range that has the side lever platform and the new gated magazine, and we'll show you that in a little bit more closer detail. Now, Brocock shifted from a bolt action platform to a side lever platform about 18 months or so ago. Completely transformed the rifles, in my opinion. Now, we reviewed a newish rifle from Brocock a little while ago, which was the Brocock Safari XR, and there are some similarities between that rifle and this rifle in terms of the core mechanics and platform. But as you can see, this rifle has a much more tactical style to it. Now, there are several versions to this. You can get them either in this black polymer plastic finish, or more of a kind of a Cerakote finish, which Brocock calls sand. And there is the Brocock Commander XR, which is available in 12 foot-pounds, 177 and 22. And there's an FAC version of that rifle as well, that's also available in 2.5. And then there's a second range, which is called the Brocock Commander XR Magnum, which is this rifle here, and that's an out-and-out high-powered version. Now, obviously, depending on which version you have, the shot count is going to differ. Now, the standard 12 foot-pound rifle has a 17-inch barrel, and in 177, that's going to give you around about 380 shots to a bottle of air. That's I think it's a 480cc carbon bottle. It's about 380 shots. In 2.2, you can expect around about 420 shots. Now, for the FAC versions, so the FAC Commander XR in 177 is 18 foot-pounds, and that will give you around about 140 shots to a fill. The 2.2 version is rated at 30 foot-pounds, and that will give you 120 shots. And then the 2.5 is rated at 46 foot-pounds, and that will give you about 60 shots. Now, the Commander XR Magnum is a little bit more powerful again. It has a longer barrel. It's a 23-inch barrel. And in 2.2, that is rated at 46 foot-pounds and will give you about 50 shots to a fill. And in 2.5 caliber, it's rated at 55 foot-pounds and will give you 45 shots per fill. This rifle right now is the Commander XR Magnum in .25 caliber. So this is the 55 foot-pound .25 rifle. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll through the rifle from back to front as usual, look at all the key features, then we'll zoom in on a few of those key features, and then we'll take it down the range, we'll put some shots in the magazine and give it a go on the range. So the standout feature on the Commander XR is this telescopic sliding stock, and there's also a folding stock version available of this as well. And obviously, depending on whether you have the stock fully out or fully in, will determine the overall length. Now, this version, the Magnum version, will extend from about 1041 millimeters at its shortest length out to 1117 at its longest length. Now, those are the figures that Brocock quotes, and that takes into account that when the gun comes to you brand new, it has a perforated muzzle brake on the end, which obviously I've taken off to put a 0 dB silencer on. But those figures equate to having that muzzle brake on. And I have to say, the telescopic stock has the tiniest little bit of play in it, but on the whole, it's very, very solid. And that little bit of play you really don't notice in your shoulder, at least I don't. And I should say, this is actually my rifle, and I hunt with this all the time. and that little bit of play in the stock really doesn't bother me. And what's really useful about this sliding stock is not only obviously does it enable you to get really good shoulder fit for the gun, but if you're in different shooting positions, perhaps lying prone, standing, kneeling, sitting, whatever, then just being able to adjust this stock just a little bit will help you, really refine that position for you. And as you can hear, the stock will sort of lock into various different positions. Now, forward of that, you have this rubberized pistol grip. It's contoured on the back, and there's grooves for your fingers. Now, you can swap that out for aftermarket AR style versions, but I actually quite like the standard one. It's very comfortable. You can't really shoot thumb up on this rifle. You can, but it's not particularly comfortable. So thumb wrapped around is the most comfortable position to shoot from. And the trigger, the blade is nice and broad, nice and quite flat as well. Very comfortable in the finger. Two-stage, fully adjustable, lets off really nicely as well. Here's the Moni bit. The safety catch is inside the trigger guard here. I said it before, don't like safeties inside the trigger. You push it from the left to the right to make the gun safe, and then when you want to shoot, you flick it across right to left to make the gun live. It's accessible, it's quiet, you can switch it on and off in the field without making a noise, and it does do a good job of locking up the trigger, but I just like it to be somewhere else on the gun, that's all. Right, above that you have the side lever. As I said before, the side lever completely transformed, in my opinion, the Brocock XR range. Brocock rifles of old were bolt action, and the bolt was a little bit harsh, a little bit kind of slam bam. You had to be quite sort of forceful with it at times. This side lever, in contrast, is silky smooth. It really is, but it's balanced just right to give you enough resistance to kind of give you that sort of sensation that you're interacting with a piece of engineering. Really nice side lever. And that drives, oops, that was deliberate. That drives the new style magazine, which has this gated flap at the front. We'll show you that in close-up detail. Now, the 2.5 magazine takes 10 shots. The 2.2 takes 11, and the 1.77 takes 13 shots. I'm just going to decock this. Above that, you have like a sort of a dual rail system here. You have these extended or raised Picatinny mounts either side of the magazine. If you want to mount with a Picatinny rail and get a little bit of height on your scope, or if you prefer, you can take these Picatinny rails off completely and mount your scope directly to the dovetail below. You probably need a higher set of mounts if you were going to do that, to be perfectly honest. I use it in conjunction with the Picatinny rails and it works absolutely fine. Now, forward of that, you have a power adjuster, which works by adjusting the transfer port, and that is notched. So there's 1, 2, 3 settings on it. And in my experience, each one goes down, reduces the power by about 20%. Now, power adjusters are far more, in my opinion, far more useful on FAC rifles, and I do use this power wheel quite a bit on this gun because you do have that greater flexibility with it. But obviously, you do need to make sure that you adjust your aim points accordingly, because whatever aim point you got at 30 meters on 55 foot-pounds is going to be different at 40 foot-pounds. Forward of that, you have 2 gauges. I should say this rifle is humor regulated as standard, like all the Brocock rifles. And the top gauge here gives you your regulator pressure in the humor regulator, and the bottom one down here gives you the fill pressure in the rifle. And that bottle, I believe, takes a 250 bar fill as well. And to access the fill port, you pull off a little cap, a little magnetic cap underneath here, which accesses the quick fill adapter down here. There's no additional caps, there's no probes that you need with this. Your airline just snaps literally straight onto that valve there. You have a Picatinny rail, accessory rail underneath here, which you can use for, I don't know, a bipod, a torch, something like that. And then forward of that, you've got the barrel, which is fully shrouded. Now the barrel actually incorporates some baffles as well. So, you know, on the 12-foot-pound rifle, it does a reasonable job of quietening down the muzzle crack. On these higher powered rifles, you really do need a silencer as well. And the barrel or the shroud has an UNF, half-inch UNF thread to take a silencer. So I think that's all the key points on the rifle. What we will do now is zero in on those and show them to you in detail. Now all Brocock rifles ship with this, the current range of rifles ship with this gated magazine. It takes 13 shots in 177, 11 in 2.2 and 10 in 2.5. It's very, very easy to use. It has this flap on the front that pulls down like that, it's magnetized. And to fill it, you've got to pull that flap down, rotate that inner drum as far as it will go and just hold that. Then take a pellet and pop it in that bottom hole down there. And that then holds that inner drum against the spring. Then it's just a case of filling up all the other holes in any order that you like so, until they're obviously all full, and then closing up that gate again to hold them in. Now, one thing to bear in mind is if you don't close that gate, or until you close that gate, the pellets will simply fall out. So just bear that in mind when you're loading your magazine, that you don't load an empty magazine. Now, loading the magazine is nice and easy. What you'll need to do is, first of all, obviously make sure that the rifle is the safety catch is switched on, then pull back the side lever, and then this magazine is empty, but with the gated side facing the back of the rifle, it simply fits into the breech, pushes in, magnets inside hold it in place and kind of draw it into the breech as well, and then simply return the side lever. There's nothing magical or complicated about filling up the Brocock Commander XR. As I said before, you have this magnetized cap underneath here, underneath the bottom of the rifle. Simply pull that off. It's magnetized, so just put that somewhere safe. That reveals this quick fill valve underneath here. There's no probes with the rifle. Your airline just simply connects to that valve, and then you want to give this a 250 bar fill, and it's 250 bars for the 12-foot-pound rifle as well, because obviously it's regulated. Now my rifle, my bottle doesn't have 250 bar in it, unfortunately. So let that fill up. Give it a little bit more. That'll do us. Now, one thing to bear in mind is, although the fill pressure is 250 bar, the gauge, the fill gauge, hopefully that will come into focus, the green bit goes up to 200 and then the red bit goes up to 250. So you will go into the red section of the gauge at a 250 bar fill. But as I say, because this rifle is regulated, you can fill this to 250 bar. Same with the 12 foot-pound guns as well. So that was a quick rundown on the Brocock Commander XR Magnum. Next stop is to take it down the range. So we've had a look at all the features on the Brocock Commander in the recording garage. I'm down at Reading Air Target Shooting Club long range today, and I put a target out at 40 meters to see how the Commander shoots. So let's see how we get on.
$851. $854.
This side
$849.
is such an improvement over the bolt action, it really is.
$849. $851. $849. $849.
I should have said before that I'm using JSB exact King Heavy Diablos in 2.5 caliber, and they're 33.95 grains.
$847. $854. $854.
I think we're empty. Yeah, empty. Right, let's go and see how we got on. Well, I'm quite pleased with that. That is 40 meters. 10 shots, 4 magazine, and I would say probably, well, it's one hole, isn't it? About, I really should get some sort of measuring device, you know. But I'm going to say possibly just about an inch. Probably most of those have gone well within an inch. And if I had a coin, I'd say it's probably just a little bit bigger than a 10p piece. But yeah, that's at 40 meters. Now, I haven't got time today, but I'm sure if I push it out to 50 meters, it would be just as accurate as well. Well, I hope you found that useful. That is the Brocock Commander, the FAC version, in 2.5 caliber, pushing out around about 55 foot-pounds. Love the adjustable feature on this. Really, really accurate as well, and consistent too. What was that? A 7 foot per second spread over 10 shots. So yeah, really good hunting rifle. This nice and tough, very durable. You could knock this about in the field and it would still do the business for you. Anyway, hope you found that useful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel because it really does help us out. And until next time, thanks for watching.